Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Football Gander podcast. Thanks for joining and listening as always. I'm Ed McIntyre and please say I'm joined by Kieran Cobley. How are you?
I'm alright, pal. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. How you been? How's your week been? How's your 2 weeks been?
It's been alright. Chesterfield have 2 draws, so can't complain.
Yeah, we will address you. Are a Chesterfield fan. Yeah. And I'm also joined by Will Hopper as well. How are you, Will?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, busy 2 weeks.
Just sleeping, really, to be honest.
You're now an actual freelance journalist as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been doing some stuff for the rugby paper, so I know rugby football, but football's sort of my main sport. I don't mind doing the rugby union; it's a bit extra cash in it. Yeah,
true. For the next hour, we will be going over big talking points with in the footballing world, or at least in English football, anyways. And we will go over some other leagues briefly as well. So yeah, let's crack on. And now, if you did listen to the first episode of the podcast, you may remember that it was just half an hour long. But we will say now that episode was for a university assignment, wasn't it? So the max time for that was half an hour. And we had to include those interviews, and we based it around Yorkshire football teams just to keep it in that half an hour time slot. But we decided to continue the podcast, so we've extended it to an hour. That gives us the opportunity to cover every league in a lot more detail. So yeah, it'll be an hour from now on. We'll try to do one every single week, and we're also going to try to do it on iTunes as well, hopefully, by the next podcast. It will obviously go on SoundCloud as well in the next podcast, so we can tell you if it is going on iTunes or not. And we will also be on YouTube as well, so as always, make sure to follow, like and share, or do whatever you need to with this podcast. But let's properly get into the big topics with football, and we've got to start with Manchester City, don't we? Of course, they beat Manchester United 3-1. They are now 2 points clear at the top of the league, ahead of Liverpool, but they are 12 points ahead of Manchester United. Like they're just so far ahead of the rivals, aren't they?
It's crazy when you look at it. Like, I watched the highlights last night of the Manchester derby, and like Manchester United only put. In the time it took City to score 1 goal, United had only put 6 passes together. That's insane. Like, I don't know if we can talk about City being that far ahead, but Manchester United being that far behind for 6 passes in 12 minutes. That's less than a pass a minute. That's absolutely ridiculous.
The thing is, though, they shouldn't be that far ahead. When you look at the teams on paper, it should be a lot closer. I'm not saying Man United are better than City on paper, but you got the likes of Pogba and De Gea and...
I disagree with that. I think for man-to-man, Man City have the best team. I don't think any Manchester United player will get into that Man City team. Like, they couldn't. But if you look at the money spent, then that should tell you Man City should not be, that much better than Man United.
I mean, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but I'm not saying United are better than City, but it should be a lot closer. I mean, Pogba's just won World Cup, for God's sake. You know what I mean? Like...
Yeah,
3-1. It was embarrassing.
The thing is, Mourinho's wanting to rectify this by spending more money. That's like, no, mate.
He's complaining about him not being able to get that much money. He hasn't had the money to buy the players that he wants to improve the team, but he has.
Yeah, like he keeps saying, he wanted to get a centre back in the last transfer window. It's like you've got
about 9 of them.
Yeah, you've got Bailly, you've got Jones, you've got Smalling, you've got who else we got?
Lindelof,
Blind. You go through them. Who out of them would get into a Man City team or any top 6 Premier League team? Spurs have better centre backs. Chelsea have better centre backs. Arsenal now probably have better centre backs. So it's like the poor defenders.
It's a classic thing on Mourinho though. Rather than train a player to try and play in a role that needs to suit them, he'd rather go to the transfer market. We saw him do it at Chelsea, where. He had like De Bruyne and Salah at one point, like under him. I think he had Sturridge as well, and like he didn't take a chance on them. He'd rather buy someone that's more established and bring them in. Yeah, it seems to be a problem. Mourinho, I think it's his coaching style. You
mentioned De Bruyne as well. The Man City game thrashed Man United all over them from start to finish, really. And of course, they won 3-1. But they didn't have De Bruyne. The centre back pairing were John Stones and Laporte. Not even Company or Otamendi. Like, they had key players missing, yet they were still so much better than Man United.
I think Man United have to be careful as well, because sooner rather than later, they could turn into what Man City was a few years back. Not saying they'd be in the leagues below or anything, but they're just going to be that far behind. It's going to be impossible for them to catch up again.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the table now, they're 8th. You know, like as I said, Man City are 12 points ahead of them, but Man United down in 8th. They got Watford and Bournemouth ahead of them on goal difference. It's just not acceptable, is it, for Man United?
No, you've Manchester United got that history, haven't they, with Ferguson, where even if they were trailing a game like they were against City, they would fight and they'd fight and they'd fight and to at least try and bring something back. Like that last City goal, there was 40 something passes put together, and not once did a Manchester United player try and close the ball down. It was like they weren't fighting. I know Mourinho's trying to say blame it off fatigue. It's like you can't blame that off fatigue. That was just a lack of fight. They'd realised they'd lost the game because Manchester City could just hold the ball better.
I think we're seeing Mourinho's inadequacies really as a manager. I mean, when you look at the teams he's managed before and he's been successful at, he was successful at Chelsea. Why? Because they had the most money. And then he went, what was it, Inter?
Yeah.
Inter was obviously going to be one of the better teams anyway. Yeah. Madrid was going to be one of the better teams. Chelsea came back. That was sort of a homecoming, so there was that feel-good factor. But going to United, what's he done?
I mean,
everywhere
he's gone, he spent a lot of money trying to get success, but he hasn't had that success.
Exactly. I think now we realise, because other teams have that much money as well, we're seeing his inadequacies to actually put a good team together, put some good tactics together. Whereas you look at Guardiola and the money he's spent and what he's been able to create. You
mentioned tactics. For me, that's where Jose Mourinho lacks. I think his style of play is just outdated now.
Yeah,
he plays the sit back and then go on the counter attack or whatever. But other teams, Man City, playing 3 at the back, 5 at the back, however you see it, passing out from the back. They're playing good football. Man United don't play that good football anymore.
No, it's like Mourinho's style hasn't evolved with the game. Like we saw when on his original spell with Chelsea, like he was the manager to beat in the Premier League. If you could beat him in the Premier League, like you'd done a really good job. But his tactics haven't changed along with the game. Like we've seen new formations come in. We've seen this play out from the back sort of style becoming more and more popular. And he's done nothing to try and create a style to combat that or do anything with that. This is going to sound harsh, but he's a dinosaur now in tactics.
Yeah, I completely agree. And your style of play as well. Man United fans have been proper all over him saying it's not the Man United way. But what is the Man United way, first of all?
I think also, though, if Man United were to change their style of play at this point, I think it's too far gone now. I think if they changed it now, everyone would be like, oh, you're only doing that because you're copying City or because you're copying Liverpool or whatever. Whereas I think Mourinho's he's got to stick with it. I think if he adapts now, it'll just bring even more ridicule on him and his team.
I mean, they're getting good results here and there. I mean, they did beat Juventus away last midweek. Juventus away in Champions League. They're getting good results here and there, but it's like in the Premier League, they're just so far behind now. I mean, 7 points off the top 4, and they may not even get Europa League.
No, it's ridiculous. I think that win against Juventus was really fluky as well. They got that last-minute corner, didn't they? And it sort of bounced around a bit. It came off a Juventus player in the end to go in the back of the net.
It was a free kick.
Free kick, rather.
Yeah.
So they got a bit of good luck. That I don't think Mourinho will be there next season. I think United's bosses have started to look around. I think Eddie Howe might be a good fit. We've seen what he can do with a lesser budget. The guy that's managing Real Betis at the minute in Spain, we've seen him being linked with a Barcelona job for next season. If Manchester United can offer him enough money, it'd be nice to see them take a chance.
Quite a few weeks ago, Zinedine Zidane, he got him, who they could easily get. And I think as well, when the Jose Mourinho and Paul Pogba situation was all going about, people were like, one of them two are going to leave. It's either going to be Pogba or Mourinho. I think a lot of Man United fans would rather it be Mourinho who goes and Pogba stays. Do you think Mourinho will go? Do you think he should go?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think he'll go in January? Because when they're that far behind, Man United have to change something. They have to be in Europe. So when you're that far behind, do you make a managerial change in January?
So I don't think they would. Remember Van Gaal? They're quite far behind when he was in charge for that season.
Just again, European football though.
Yeah.
Man United have an eighth.
I know, but they didn't get rid of Van Gaal until 4 weeks after the end of the season. Put Giggs in charge for the last 2 or 3 games. I personally think they'll probably do that again. I don't think it's Man United's management's way of it's just not their way to sack a manager in January.
I think it depends how the busy Christmas period goes from. If they don't get quite a lot of wind and then pick up a lot of points and make that gap with the top four a lot closer. They don't get ahead of Watford or Bournemouth. It could be out, but then again, the owner Ed Woodward, he just seems to be, really, he seems to have faith in his managers, and if player and manager not agreeing with each other, he'll just get rid of the player. That seems to be the case. But we'll focus on Manchester City though. They are playing incredible football, aren't they?
It's sublime to watch. It's nice to watch. You can enjoy watching their style play and not be a Manchester City fan, and you sort of admire it and like I wish my team could play that way.
Yeah, I mean
that's when you know you've got a good football team.
Yeah, I mean I remember Man City versus Arsenal early on this season, and Arsenal fans were chanting, "You bought it all," but I'd rather my team buy it all and be successful than not buy anything and be an awful team.
The thing is, they say they bought it all, but they didn't buy exactly established players.
No,
do you know what I mean? They've not bought the finished product. I mean, look at like Sir John Stones or De Bruyne. Like when they went to City, they weren't what they are now. They've improved that much more. So I think it's a mixture between buying and actually developing the player.
It's worth noting as well, they've not spent as much as some other teams have.
Yeah.
They've not spent as much as Man United have. I don't think they've spent as much as Chelsea haven't, over cumulative seasons. So I think to say they've bought it also a bit harsh. I can see maybe where it's coming from because they have had some big transfers, big transfer fees. But in my eyes, they haven't bought it all. They've bought in the players they needed to buy, and they've brought in a coach that can offer that sort of style.
Yeah, and they've improved him as well. I mean, Gabriel Jesus, no one had ever heard of him before he came. Sterling, he'd only just broke out in the Liverpool side, and then they spent 50 million on him. They are buying, the youngsters and then developing them up. And a few months ago, the owner of Manchester City as well came out with a statement saying this is just the beginning, and we want to go out and buy it all. I mean, they of course haven't won the Champions League yet, but is that scary for other teams? With the owner saying this is just the beginning and we want to be better?
I don't think the likes of Liverpool or Chelsea. Could you see Abramovich being scared by that statement? Really?
Abramovich hasn't been spending that much.
No, he's got some issues. He's got issues to do with stuff going off in Russia. So, and apparently he was looking to sell it one bit. He was looking to put the club up for sale. I don't know if that's still true, but
it's the fact that so many people think Manchester City has so many years, so many transfer windows ahead of everyone else in that league. I mean, it is, Liverpool are only 2 points off, Chelsea 4 points off, but it's like, Man City are just so much better than quite a lot of other teams in that league. And, Liverpool, they're the closest rival, but Liverpool aren't matching their scores. They drew with Arsenal 1-1 the other week, so I'd be scared if I was another team listening to owner saying this is just the beginning, they want to get better. That would be scary for me.
I don't know how they could possibly get any better, if I'm honest. I mean, they play that good anyway. Even getting another world-class player, someone's going to leave. Like, you can't have 30, 40 world-class players and not play them every week. So
I think that's why we're all shocked that Mahrez went there in the summer, because where's he going to fit in? He seems to be coming off the bench quite a lot, so he's getting some playing time, but it's probably not as much as he was. Well, it's definitely not as much as he was getting in Leicester, where he was a star. Started
against Man United, and he did actually play quite well. But of course, they haven't won the Champions League yet. But could they this season? Could they win all 4 trophies that are at hand? I mean, you look in the Champions League, Real Madrid, they're way off the mark this season. Of course, they sacked manager Lopetegui recently. But could Man City? Could they win all 4?
I think it would be incredible. To win all 4 is a very, very big ask, because not only are you playing your league games, you've got your midweek Champions League, then you're going to have rearranged fixtures for your FA Cup, your League Cup. By the time February comes, you could just run out of gas.
Personally, I think they'll go for the double. I think they'll sack off the League Cup and the FA Cup unless they start building some momentum in the FA Cup, League Cup. I don't think they'll be bothered about. They won it last year, so there's not that sort of need to win it this year. But I think they'll personally go in pursuit of that Champions League, especially if UEFA's saying you might not be involved because you're breaking financial fair play. So it'll be Premier League and Champions League they're going to be after. Yeah,
that Champions League I think has to be priority for Manchester City.
They've got to win it.
They say that they're such a good team. They are a good team at Premier League, but it's like they haven't established themselves in European football yet. Past few seasons, they've been barely getting past the group stage.
It's the same as PSG. Like you want to go out and spend that much money to be an established club in Europe, but yet when was the last time you won the Champions League?
Yeah, exactly. Juventus as well.
Yeah.
Juventus could be on card. I know that they lost against Man United, but they may win the Champions League. I think those are like the teams. Man City and Juventus are probably, maybe Barcelona, probably the teams who I would say will be like proper contenders. I don't think Real Madrid will get there. Maybe Atletico Madrid as well, but I can't see Real Madrid being there. But Man City, could they win all four? That'll be very interesting to see. Of course, Spurs in fourth on 27 points. They won the last game away at Palace. But I want to discuss their pitch. The state of their Wembley pitch is awful.
It is, but you've got to remember they have had NFL games there, haven't they, over the past couple of weeks? So that obviously takes a massive toll on the pitch management.
Yeah, but the thing is, they shouldn't be playing on that. That's NFL games, yeah, but they shouldn't be playing on that pitch anyway. They should have moved into their new stadium back in September when they played Liverpool at home, but they didn't, and they probably won't even move until next season, till start of next season. Now that's how much it's been delayed. Now, one, it's poor management with the stadium being built, but two, it's like, surely they've won the course and been able to play at Wembley.
Well, I think they're the victims of their own downfall. I mean, why promise, we'll be in by September, and then not expect bad things to happen when you can't see those promises through?
Yeah, I mean, building companies don't just say the last minute, a day before deadline, we're not going to get it done. They knew way in advance.
Yeah.
Like they should have told everyone straight away earlier. Yeah, but they have been playing at Wembley. Of course, they played at MK Dons in the League Cup match a few weeks ago rather. But the state of that Wembley pitch is just disgusting.
What I love though is advertisers advertising I don't know, call them sort of like off combat for adverts and stuff. They've had a word with Spurs and said you can't keep promising that this new Spurs stadium will be the only place to watch Champions League football in London, because it's not there yet.
I think as well, you got to remember, it is Wembley. It's not their stadium.
Yeah.
So it is actually up to the Wembley groundsmen to sort of keep the pitch in a decent state.
But I'm fed up of seeing Spurs play at Wembley now. I mean, listening to Talk Sport during the course of last season, the one about, they're playing at Wembley, but it's like when in FA Cup, League Cup, it's like the teams who play against them, like lower league teams, it should be like an honour to play at Wembley. But yeah, they're going there third round, fourth round to play Spurs at Wembley. I don't personally, they need somewhere to play, obviously, but I think that they've just run the course at Wembley. They need to get into that new stadium quick. But the North London rivals, Arsenal, they're on a good run. 16 games unbeaten in the Premier League. They drew with Wolves, though, in the last game, won all. But they have been on a good run. 16 games unbeaten.
I think the international break just came at the right time for them because they've drew the last 3 or 4 games, haven't they? So they sort of needed that international break to come. But they are in a fantastic form, and I think this international break's only going to help them because it means key players like Lacazette, Aubameyang, players that aren't going to get into their national teams, which there's a fair few of in Arsenal. They're going to get nice long rest, 2 weeks off, and they'll come back fitter and fresher. Ready for them. They've got some big games against Spurs and Man United coming up, haven't they? After the international break.
Got Spurs at Man United away.
Yeah, so they're going to be fit and rested for that. And I think, looking at it, I think they could definitely win against Manchester United. Spurs, I think, probably be a draw.
I think though, who saw this coming? Especially the way they started the season and how they were playing.
But you look at the first 2 games was Chelsea and Man City. Man City at home, Chelsea away. Those are difficult games, but since then they've been unbeaten. It's incredible.
Again, though, that City-Chelsea start, they're the teams that they should be beating, or at least competing with, and it wasn't anywhere near close. No. Which is why I think that this run has sort of shocked a lot of people, because they've seen Arsenal go from looking sorry for themselves to now actually, they're in 5th and only 3 points off finishing the top 4.
I mean, you say that they should be competing against Chelsea and Man City. I don't think they should. No, they didn't finish in the Champions League last season. They're quite a lot of transfer windows off. This is like the rebuild stage. I should correct myself though. They are 16 games unbeaten in all competitions and not just the league. But they look like a new Arsenal, a new era under Unai Emery. He's doing a fantastic job there.
Yeah, I mean, I know Will mentioned the Chelsea game, but they'd actually played from what I remember, they played pretty well in that Chelsea game. And it was just basically like the shots, the Lacazette and Aubameyang were sort of missing chances that they'd usually, hit 9 times out of 10. So I personally think we'll see them in Champions League by the end of the season, but it's going to take another season or 2 to maybe get to the point where they're challenging for a league title.
Yeah, I think Emery knows what he wants to do, and if you're an Arsenal fan, I think it's now good to see that they've moved away from that sort of boring Arsene Wenger sort of.
They're playing good football,
yeah.
which is important.
That's the thing. You need to. You can't just win games. You have to look good doing it, and they're sort of following that Man City sort of showbiz, sort of like let's actually excite the fans. I mean, we all know that Arsenal's not exactly one of them rocking stadiums or anything. So they have to. I think Emery was a good appointment in the end.
But watching the Arsenal matches on TV, you can tell the atmosphere there has changed a lot. The fans seem to be a lot more upbeat, a lot more positive. There's less. There's definitely no more Wenger out chance, is there? So.
Can you see him winning the trophy this season?
FA Cup probably.
Yeah.
It seems to be a running joke now that Arsenal can only win the FA Cup.
Yeah, I think it'll be a cup if they're going to win anything.
I think we should go over the Danny Welbeck injury. Of course, in the 0-0 draw at home against Sporting Lisbon in the Europa League, Danny Welbeck, he jumped for a header in the box and fell awkwardly on his ankle, and the pictures are just horrible. The pictures are really, really nasty, and he's had successful surgery, but he probably won't play again until this time next year, if we're going to be honest, and that's his Arsenal career over, isn't it?
I mean, from a business sense, I don't think Arsenal are going to offer him a new contract if there's no guarantee he'll be back for this time next year. I personally think they won't offer him a new contract. They'll basically pay, keep on his contract till it runs out, and then it's just up to him to try and find a team that's willing to take a risk on him. Someone like Burnley or Everton might want to take a risk on him and see what they can do. So they can bring him back once he's in full fitness. But his Arsenal career is probably over. I think that's a fair assumption.
Yeah, but that's the only problem with Welbeck is that he is injury prone. So if he does go somewhere, it is a huge risk because he's not going to be cheap.
No, well, it's just your wages that you have to pay for. You don't have to pay for it.
That's what I mean. Like,
Arsenal aren't going to renew his contract.
His wages will be a lot higher than the likes of Burnley will probably want to pay. I think.
Do you think they'll still be high after an injury that he's had?
With the you got to remember their egos. He's going to be saying, "I'm a proven Premier League goal scorer. I'm an England international. I deserve this much money."
Yeah, well, to be honest, you should just want to get back out into football anywhere you can and for however much you can.
To be fair to him, though, he had been before his injury. Had been in fantastic form.
And I feel so sorry for him because he was playing so good, especially in Europa League games, and he's now got this injury, and that's probably the last time he'll play for Arsenal, isn't it? We did mention Bournemouth and Watford earlier, but just quickly go over them. They are having fantastic seasons, aren't they? Like who saw them? Like Watford, they were in top 4. So Bournemouth, they've been in top 4 this season. They're having fantastic seasons, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, and I like it with Bournemouth. Although I'm not a massive fan of them actually being in the Premier League. I think they're a bit small of a club. But I like Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe is a good manager, and I think he's now getting the credit that he deserves. Like, everyone said, "Oh yeah, he's a good manager in the past," but I think now we're really starting to see that he is, or could possibly be, world class.
I think he's a world class manager. I think you look at what he's done with Bournemouth, where he's took them from League 2 to the Premier League and kept him there for 2 or 3 seasons. I think he had a bit of time away at Burnley for a season, like half a season or so. But he's done a fantastic job, and I actually credit him more for doing that than I would Pep Guardiola winning the Premier League with Man City, because they've got not even half the budget Man City have. They can't rely on the attendances as well because they've only got a smallish ground. At one point they were in administration, so he's done a fantastic job with them. Yeah,
I'm quite a big fan of Bournemouth being in the Premier League, just for story of them climbing from through the leagues and into the Premier League, and them or Watford could get you European football next season. That'll be absolutely incredible for them both. So they're both having fantastic seasons. But we move to the other end of the table, and Fulham, they still can't seem to get a win, can they? They haven't won since the end of August. 2-0 lost to Liverpool in the last game. But that crucial defeat away at Huddersfield, where they lost 1-0, that was a terrible defeat. And Huddersfield, they're on good form, aren't they? 4 points from 6 this past week. They've had a good week.
I think Huddersfield are now going to struggle because the international breaks came in just as they were starting to pick up form. So that might hold their sort of momentum a little bit. But Fulham, you looked at when experts are doing their Premier League predictions, they were all predicting Fulham to have a mid-table finish, like high, 11th to 12th finish. Yeah,
well, they spent well, and the manager is decent, and they got decent players. Andrei Schürrle, he's a good shout.
Mitrovic.
Yeah.
Mitrovic. Sari. Is it Sari? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how you pronounce it. Like, they've got fantastic players there, and they're just Sessegnon as well. Ryan Sessegnon is a fantastic young player. And you look at that and you're thinking, where's it sort of going wrong? Where's it not connecting?
I can tell you where it's not connecting is defence. 31 goals conceded in 12 games. I can see that, but I agree though. I was one of them that I thought, out of the teams that came up from the Championship, I thought Wolves and Fulham, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
And it's obviously proven not to be the case, hasn't it?
But I think you keep seeing though when they're putting starting lineups out, they keep putting Sessegnon as a left back. We saw last season that he was playing that left attacking wing role, and he was doing fantastic there. So why go and shove him back into left back? Like that.
Well, he is a natural left back, but
last season his form came when he played further up the pitch, when he was playing the attacking three. But
I mean, I certainly didn't see him being bottom of the league at all during the course of the season. I thought that they would, be mid-table. I think Huddersfield, I saw them being in bottom three, and so Cardiff as well. But Huddersfield, could they survive now? We tipped them for relegation in the last episode, but could they survive? 4 points from 6?
No. I still think no. They've only scored 6 goals. Like, I still don't see where the goals are coming from.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, fair enough, they've had some good results, but they beat Fulham. It's not an achievement, is it?
So I think they could have a chance, but they need to beat Fulham again in the return fixture. They need to beat Cardiff.
They basically need to beat the teams that are around there.
Yeah. They need to take like 4 or 6 points from them at least. You can't lose a game to any of those teams around you.
And the team that is around there in the relegation zone is Southampton. I think that we should go over. We should have a listen to the Charlie Austin post-match interview after their 1-0 draw at home to Watford. He went on a massive rant over Southampton's disallowed goal when it was ruled offside. So let's have a listen.
They shouldn't win the game. They get a point. We score a perfectly good goal. Make it 2-0. Game's done dusted. We win the game. Officials cost us 2 points today. It's standard. They said it's offside. Hit me. I didn't. I hit it twice. Hit me. Bobbed up. That's why it done Foster. It's a joke. You're going about VAR this, VAR that. Help the officials out. Clearly they need help. Clearly we play in the Premier League, the best league in the world, the most watched league in the world. Give them all the help they need, because clearly they cost us 2 points today. It's a joke.
Now that is a funny rant. Let's be honest. That is a funny rant. But joking aside, he does have some good points in that.
It does. It does sound a bit like Smithy from Gavin Estate when he's moaning about people digging into his curry, but. He's got a fair point. Where's VAR gone? Because it seemed to be doing all right job at the World Cup, and then, he's doing a sort of okay job. It needed some improvement still, but he's right. The officials, cocked up, and they lost out on 2 points as a result of that. Yeah,
the officials do need help, and down there every point matters. And if they got them 3 points, that win, that is absolutely massive for them. That'll climb them out of that relegation battle. If they, to pick up that many points throughout the season, but it is funny, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, it was quality, wasn't it? Especially all the Park Life videos going around on Facebook and whatever. But I mean, I agree. He has some good points, and I think it is time now that we see some changes with the officiating.
VAR, I think the big talking point. VAR, it does cause controversy, but it does help the officials out, but also teams out as well. Because if they get a decision that goes against them, if they score a goal but it goes against them even though it shouldn't have, that's massive for him. Like Southampton, but he'll surely get fined now, will he?
Oh, FA will. Like we've seen they don't take people talking about them in a bad manner too lightly, have we?
Pontus Jansson, Leeds United, a few weeks ago after the Brentford draw, he said the referee was shit. Basically, and he got a fine. So Charlie Austin, he'll probably expect a fine in the next few days. But we'll move on to the Championship, and what a crazy weekend it has been in the Championship. Some crazy results. One to pick out was Derby. They lost 3-0 at home to Aston Villa. That's a massive surprise. Leeds United, they've been on good form recently, but they got hammered by West Brom at the Hawthorns. They lost 4-1. They are still in third place though. Birmingham, they drew 3-3 with Hull City. Quite a lot of goals there. Norwich City, who are top of the table, a crazy game down at Carrow Road. They went 2-1 down against Millwall. Then they end up winning 4-3, basically. They won 4-3. An absolute crazy weekend of results in the Championship. It's Championship at its best, isn't it?
It just shows why we love the Championship, because it is a league where anything can happen. Like the Derby Aston Villa result, I think just about anyone was backing Derby to win that. If people were betting, they were betting on Derby to win that. And then Villa came and thrashed them 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, Villa aren't having that good a season. They are mid-table, and you would have expected Derby to win that, but to lose 3-0 at home, Derby have been on good run of form as well.
Yeah, they beat Sheffield United. They beat a few top sides, haven't they? They looked like they were going to be in top at league if they won that match. So
I think that's the thing though with Derby. Are they sort of only playing when they feel it's necessary? Like they've raised their game when they've played the top teams, but when they've played some of the lesser teams, they've not looked too good, have they?
No. Of course, Norwich City are top of the table. They've seemed to come out of nowhere, haven't they? But they've won the previous 5 league games, one loss in 12 since their 3-0 loss to Leeds United at Carrow Road. But could they win the league? Like they'll be massive underdogs, won't they? Because this is now the 3rd season in the Championship since the relegation from Premier League. They're not on. They haven't got the biggest budget in the world. Webber, he's come out and said, the can't splash a cast loads. So they are kind of underdogs, and they've come out of nowhere, but they're on really good form, and they are top of the league. It's amazing, isn't it?
It is, but we've got to remember, we're not even halfway through the season yet, and it is the Championship. Anything can happen. I mean, you look there, the top 10 are only separated by 7 points.
Yeah, you've got to remember, class is permanent and form is temporary.
Yeah.
I think that's the old mantra, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But they have come out of nowhere. On the last podcast we were saying like the top 3 was all Yorkshire clubs, and now Leeds lost 4-1. Sheffield United drew that 0-0 draw at Wednesday. At home. Sorry, and they still City derby.
Yeah,
it's a topsy-turvy world, the Championship.
Yeah, I mean, past weekend's fixture just shows you, what 1 week it could be like all the top teams win. Next week, just losses all around. It's absolutely crazy. Leeds United, 4-1 loss away at West Brom. Are they on the decline? They were top of the league a few weeks ago.
Again, though, I take it back to that. I mean, West Brom aren't a bad team.
No.
Let's remember that. West Brom were playing at home. The Hawthorns is a notoriously difficult place to go anyway. I don't know if the Leeds are on the decline. I think we'll have to wait for a few more results. But I think we'll have to wait and see. It's early days.
So Norwich top at league. Leeds may be on a decline, but the league is still so tight. I mean, it's so tight, and it's tight down at the bottom as well. Another Greater Yarmouth side, Ipswich Town, they are bottom of the league. They seem to be going down, don't they? They're 5 points off, from going out. They'll be going down, surely. Unless
they put a magical run together, I think they're done for. I think, honestly, it'd be amazing if they stayed up. Obviously, we'd like to see. I mean, Ipswich won the UEFA Cup, didn't they, in like the 90s or 80s or something? So for them to be in League One, I think would be a massive disaster.
Yeah.
It's not looking good if you're an Ipswich fan, is it? Like, I think a lot of Ipswich fans are more or less sort of relegated to themselves to the fact that we are going to go down. But if we go down, it might be a time to rebuild and come back up. But stacking the manager and stuff that seems to be going off around the ground, it's just not a good place to be at the minute.
They need to pick up the home form. I mean, I don't think I still don't think that they've won a home game this season, which is incredible. I mean, usually it's a really, really tough place to go, is Ipswich.
Well, they've only had one win anyway, so. But again, that tells you how tough the Championship is when a team like Ipswich is that far off the drift.
I mean, yeah, they're an established Championship team. Like now, they've been down there for a good few seasons, so it's one of these weird things. I think we see it every now and then. If you don't go up in the Championship or sort of the League One or League Two, if you don't take your chances and go up to the next league, other teams catch up, and you end up down at the bottom. We're seeing it with Bradford in League One.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it with Hull City as well in the Championship. They were in Premier League a few seasons ago. They haven't spent much money. They are in financial, an embargo, so they look to be on the way down as well. But I mean, look at that. There's 4 teams all on 16 points, separated by goal difference down there. And then you got Rotherham and Preston just ahead. They are 2 points clear of the relegation zone, but it is so tight up and down the Championship, and we're 17 games in. It's absolutely crazy. But now it is time for this. So at this point in the show, where I'll quickly go over the talking points in other leagues around the world, and we'll start with La Liga, where Barcelona, they lost 4-3 to Real Betis at home. That is a crazy result. They went 4-2 down in this game as well, but Messi, with a last-minute penalty, that was not enough to let Barcelona come back. But they still remain top, though, despite Sevilla, Atletico Madrid and Alaves winning. But I tell you, it's very interesting. Those three teams, Sevilla, Atletico and Alaves, just 1 point behind Barcelona. They're all on the same point. It's incredible. Teams coming out of nowhere. Alaves, who had even heard of them? But they're up there and they're 1 point off the top. Real Madrid, they won 4-2 away at Celta Vigo. That put them 4 points behind Barcelona in 5th. But it's incredible this season in La Liga. It's tight as ever. Tell you where it isn't so incredible though. Liga PSG, now 13 points clear at the top. There's 13 points clear ahead of second place Lille. But they beat Thierry Henry's Monaco 4-0 away from home in the last game. Monaco on 7 points, second from bottom in 19th. It's not good for them. Thierry Henry, of course, just went to Monaco. So surely he could be on way out, couldn't he?
I thought he's only just got there, hasn't he? But you've got to remember he's not an experienced manager. He was an assistant coach at Belgium before the Monaco job. But it's just a case of they've just sold all their good players on. Coutinho, Mbappe, Falcao went for a bit and then came back. James Rodriguez, who's still there that's a world-class player?
Yeah, and Thierry Henry, it really doesn't look like management probably isn't the way for him. He's doing so poor there, and a 4-0 loss to PSG probably isn't good enough for them. It's not so different in Serie A either, as a 2-0 win at AC Milan for Juventus put them 5 points clear at the top. Look like they'll be running away with Serie A. It is different though in Bundesliga. Of course, it was the Klassiker. Hopefully I pronounced that right. That was last Saturday, which saw Borussia Dortmund come from 2-1 down at home to beat Bayern Munich 3-2. Dortmund now 4 points clear of second place Borussia Mönchengladbach. Hopefully I pronounced that right as well. But they are 7 points clear of Bayern Munich. That is unacceptable for Bayern Munich, isn't it?
That is. I can't. The Bundesliga this season is really spiced up because Bayern Munich have been in such poor form and being so heavily reliant on players like Ribery and Robben, who are sort of starting to age, and they're missing out on a few players, haven't they? Like Koeman's out through injury. There's a few others. James Rodriguez apparently isn't very happy there because he's not getting starts very often because of this reliance on old guard. But that league's starting to spice up. It's been a bit bland the past 3 or 4 years, but this season I'm looking forward to that. I'm just trying to watch the highlights every week if I can as well.
Is it Borussia Dortmund's year? They haven't won the league in so long. It's always been Bayern Munich, but 7 points clear of Bayern Munich. Is it their year?
I hope so. It'd be nice to see a change, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
They cancelled that Bayern's league twice in that game against Bayern, so you'd have thought so. But I think it depends if they keep players like Jadon Sancho and Marco Reus fit.
Yeah, it would definitely be nice for a change. But now, of course, it is the international break this week and next week. England, of course, playing 2 games in 4 days this week. They play USA on Thursday night in a friendly, and then Croatia on Sunday in the UEFA Nations League. That is a 2 o'clock kickoff, I believe. But England, how do we feel about international breaks, guys? First of all, are you more excited for them now from since the World Cup?
I don't know. I think this UEFA Nations League has sort of took away my sort of excitement for it because I don't really know what's going on. If I'm honest with you, I don't think it's been explained properly exactly what happens and what it all means.
Yeah, I don't think that many people know what's going on. I think so. You got groups. You got groups of 3 teams and groups of 4 teams, and groups are split into sections. And I think if you win your group and win the section, you get straight into the Euros. If you only win your group, then you get put into a playoff to get into the Euros. And then if you don't win anything, then you just get put into the regular qualifiers for the Euros. I think that's how it works. But how about you, Kevin? Are you more excited for international breaks now to watch England?
I mean, it makes them a bit more competitive. In the last international break, we beat Spain 3-2, but I won't say getting excited about them. I think some of the matchups are a bit more interesting now, but the last game against Croatia, we drew 0-0, and I spent £20 on a Domino's to watch that game, and I regretted it because it was so fucking boring.
To be honest, since the World Cup and since that 3-2 win away at Spain, I'm kind of like looking forward to these two matches. I've got some cousins who live in America, so if we beat USA, I can just rub it in their faces. And of course, if we beat Croatia, we will go top of a group, which and then we'd hope that Croatia will beat Spain. Probably be hard for them, probably unlikely to happen, but we could win the group. But for me, I'm more excited to watch England now. I think it's since the World Cup, since we've seen how well we can play under Gareth Southgate. England they have a good team now.
We've always been a good team. We just haven't put it together when it mattered, and that's what we did. Obviously, this last summer. I am more excited to watch England play, but still, I think it's still a little bit too boring for me, if I'm honest.
So I enjoy watching England a bit more now because Southgate plays quite an attractive style of football, and we are playing really well. And it's like Will said, we've always had a good team. Remember, we had the golden generation from 2000 through to 2008, and we did nothing with them because we didn't have the right manager-player combos. But I still don't get excited about these international breaks. Like when they come, I'll maybe watch a game or two if I can be bothered. But I'm just looking forward. I'm looking forward to Rooney coming back. I am looking forward to seeing him play for 45 minutes.
Yeah, Wayne Rooney coming. Only 45 minutes, do you think?
Yeah, he's only the announcer's only going to play for the first half. It'll be some sort of testimonial thing where a lot of the proceeds are going to his charity, and they've named it in his honour and stuff like that.
So that's why he's coming out of retirement. He's not playing in the Croatia game.
No. They've when they put the team sheets out, they put a little star next to his name saying only for Croatia. So he's playing the first half, and then he's coming off. So.
Only for USA.
Yeah, only for USA.
Yeah, Rooney coming back. It'll be good to see Rooney, wouldn't
it? Yes and no. Yes, obviously because of what he's achieved in the game, and it's obviously going to be. He's still for me a top quality player, but it is going to be very not scripted, but very just too much show business going on with it being in the USA, and that's the only reason why he's coming back for that game because he's already there anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've got mixed feelings about it.
I mean, it's nice to see that they're obviously putting the money towards charity and stuff. And that's always a good cause. But it's sure that's another chance to give a younger England player a start.
Yeah, and
that's my only sort of nag with it.
Yeah, but I mean, it is great that they're doing charity work. Wayne Rooney, let's talk about him for a second because since he joined FC Dallas, they've been
DC United.
DC United, yeah. They have been on. They did go on a good run, didn't they?
Yeah, they had a fantastic run of form, and he only sort of fluffed his line a bit in the MLS playoffs.
Yeah.
They had a fantastic, run of form. He was playing well. I still remember that goal was set up where he tracked right the way back to the halfway line, pinched the ball, whacked it upfield, and managed to somehow, smallest guy on the pitch, managed to jump up with a header. And I think, I can't remember if it was an equaliser or a winning goal, but he got nominated for goal of the season for MLS.
For me, that's one of the all-time great moments in football. I think just the at his age, he's got nothing left to prove. He's playing in an inferior league, but yet he still shows that desire and determination to try and win games.
I know you just said the MLS inferior league, but I've got to admit, in the past 2 or 3 seasons, I'm starting to warm up to it a bit more. I don't like this MLS playoff thing. I think that's a load of crap. I'd rather just have a regular season, but I think to attract a bigger audience, you have to do that playoff sort of thing. Also, more money because more games. But because stars like Zlatan and Rooney and stuff are going out there now, I think he's getting a lot more attention, and they're starting to attract sort of attractive names now. Like a guy from River Plate is going to be playing there next season, Martinez. So he's going to be joining there next season. So it's definitely looking a lot better. I think there's a lot more interest in it now from over here, and I think hopefully that's going to spread to the American market.
Yeah, and speaking of the MLS, LA Galaxy striker Zlatan Ibrahimovic, he has been named MLS 2018 Newcomer of the Year, and he has been incredible at MLS. 22 goals, 10 assists in 27 games.
Well, wasn't it his debut against LAFC where he ended up coming on and like scoring 2 goals when they were 3-1 down or something, and one of them was a last minute or something like that. I can't remember.
And one of the goals as well was from about 30 yards out or something.
Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah,
absolutely crazy. And there's a quote here. It says, "You're lucky I didn't come 10 years earlier because I would be president by now." So he's modest as always. Is Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
I do love Zlatan, but I can't help but feel that Rooney probably should have won that award because. Remember when he came to DC United, they were bottom of the league.
Yeah. You can't beat that though. 22 goals, 10 assists in 27 games.
I think just for the impact of what he's had on his team. I mean, he's assisted. I think he's became their top assist and top goal scorer. I'm not sure, but for the impact made, he managed to get DC United to the playoffs at LA Galaxy. I think they missed out. So
yeah. I mean, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, he's a good team. He's a good player, and MLS does seem to be attracting some big names. But moving away from MLS, because we were talking about England, of course, USA game. First of all, do you have any predictions?
3-0 England.
Oh, I was going to say 2-1 England.
2-1. You know what? I'll go for 3-1 England. I hope we beat USA.
Down the middle, Ed. Down the middle.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we lose against USA, my cousins in America will mince it at me, saying, "Oh, USA are better than England. We didn't even qualify for the World Cup last time."
I want to be involved in that phone call.
I think England will win. But the game against Croatia, of course, if we do win, we will go top of the group, and we need to hope that Croatia beat Spain. Is that going to happen? Do you think Croatia beating Spain?
No.
Do you think we'll beat Croatia, though?
I think we'll beat Croatia, but I can't see Croatia beating Spain, no.
I think Croatia could beat Spain. I think Croatia had a fantastic World Cup as well. Did they knock out Spain in the World Cup? No, Russia beat Spain. But I think Croatia could do it. I think as long as Modric and Rakitic are on the pitch and Mandzukic is performing well, I think there's no reason why they couldn't beat Spain. Yeah,
I mean it's a hard team to beat as Croatia. Of course, England know that because we lost in the semi-finals. Still have nightmares about that game. We could have.
We were so close.
We were so close, yet so far. But England are going to qualify for Euros anyway, regardless. Do you think?
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. That's why this whole UEFA Nations League is stupid anyway. Like, I understand maybe like your teams that are in Division B and Division C. If they win their group, then they get in the Euros, which is obviously amazing.
Yeah, so it's a chance to give the lesser teams a chance to qualify for major tournaments.
Yeah, but why are we messing about with putting England in this qualifying? We're gonna even if we finished bottom of that group, we would still qualify through the normal process anyway. So what is the point?
For me, it's just like I think there should be some sort of mini league set up. Like basically, you have 10 teams or something in a league. You play 18 games over the course of 2 years, whatever, between the international tournaments and stuff. Just to make things a bit more competitive, maybe some sort of reward, like you get an extra bid token or something for a World Cup or a Euro or something like that. Just something to spice it up a bit and like make the matches more competitive and make them just give them that edge, give them something where fans can really put the teeth into it.
I mean, to be fair, I prefer watching competitive matches over friendly matches. And I think that's what the UEFA Nations League is bringing. You would have these international breaks anyway, which is too many, by the way. I prefer watching club football than international breaks, but I do much rather prefer watching competitive matches than friendlies.
I think there's still a problem that the UEFA Nations League, a lot of people just see it as a glorified friendly. I remember Paddy Power put a tweet out saying something like, looks like a friendly, it smells like a friendly, it's a friendly, for like one of the first UEFA Nations Leagues, one of the first games they did of it. And I think that's what they've got to try and shake off, and I think it's going to take some time, but if they're dead set on it and they keep putting the effort into it, I think maybe with time it'll become a bit more accepted.
I hope so, because I can't stand it at the minute.
Well, I think that'll bring us to the end of this episode. Hopefully everyone who listened enjoyed it. Make sure to like, follow, share, do whatever you can, and hopefully by the next podcast we will be on iTunes, so we'll keep you updated on whether we will go to iTunes or not. But yeah, thank you very much for listening, and seeing as though it is the international break next week, we may not have much to talk about, so we may not fill an hour, but we will try, and we will be doing a quiz. How does that sound?
Yeah.
A football quiz?
Bring it on.
From international break.
We need to get some guests in for that one. I need Team Kieran. We need Team Kieran. We need Team Will for that one.
You think?
I think we do. I think we're on sports journalism course. I'm sure there's some lads that want to get involved in that.
Yeah. That'd be pretty good. I'll get the quiz all together and do a quiz next week. But thank you very much to Kieran for joining me. It's been,
Cheers, mate.
been good. And thank you very much to Will as well. And we will see you guys in the future. But for now, it is ta-ra from us.